After months of waiting, Iron Man 3 is finally here. So if you haven't seen or you just want to know how I feel about the first two Iron Man films, you can check out my reviews for Iron Man 1 and 2 by clicking the annotations on the screen or by clicking the links down in the info below. So now with that said, let's begin the review for Iron Man 3. So as soon as Iron Man 3 starts, you realize that Iron Man 3 really isn't the sequel to Iron Man 2. Iron Man 3 is actually one of the sequels to the Avengers. You realize that the events that took place during the Avengers really have left a toll on Tony Stark. Throughout this film, Tony Stark is having anxiety attacks because the events that happen in the Avengers are really affecting his life. And you can't blame the guy. I mean, he is human. He's not like Thor. He's not a god. He doesn't meet creatures like he did in the Avengers every day. When a normal human goes face to face against aliens and brings a giant nuke into a portal and almost dies in the process, it really does change your life, and you can really tell throughout Iron Man 3. Continuing along the topic of Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. gives his best performance as Mr. Stark throughout this film. Robert Downey Jr. is funny in this film, he's very emotional, and he's everything else that we love about the character of Tony Stark. Something that I really loved that the creators did with the character of Tony Stark in this film is that they brought him back to the character that he was in the first Iron Man movie. When Tony Stark in the first Iron Man gets captured and brought to the cave, he doesn't have any toys to rely on. He has to use his mind, his greatest weapon of all. And when Tony Stark has to rely on his intelligence, it's just awesome to watch. And once again, as in the previous two movies, the rest of the cast does its job perfectly. Gwyneth Paltrow is back as Pepper Potts, and she's as good as ever. One of the cool things that they did with the character in Pepper in this movie is that they really incorporated her into the action. At one point in this film, you get to see Pepper take on the Iron Man suit and use it. And when it happens, it's awesome to watch. Don Cheadle is back as Rhodey, and he's better than he was in the second movie. In Iron Man 3, Rhodey just plays a more action-packed role than he did in the second film. Other than the ending scene in Iron Man 2 where he really did take on the action, throughout the film of Iron Man 3, Rhodey and Tony Stark have to work together, which is awesome to watch. And new characters such as Guy Pearce and Rebecca Hall do great jobs in their performances. Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin does a great job as well. There's even this kid that Tony Stark meets up with in the film, and even the kid is great. Now, one of the many great things about Iron Man 3 is it isn't what you expect in some cases. The story is a great example of this. In my opinion, the story in Iron Man 3 is the best and most interesting story out of the entire Iron Man franchise. All the action scenes and all the action set pieces are also the best they have been in the entire franchise. These action set pieces are just phenomenal. We'll take the mansion scene for an example. When Tony Stark's Malibu mansion is getting blown up, you see clips of it in the trailer, and when I watched the trailer, I thought that would be the majority of the scene. But it turns out when you're watching the movie, there's much more to this scene, and it is great to watch. More of the great action set pieces include the Air Force One scene, and also the entire end of this movie. The entire end climax fight is just stunning. Now, the pacing in this movie is just great. They tie the story, the emotion, the action, all together perfectly for, I think, a very well-paced film. This means that this movie is non-stop entertainment. Now, as you may have heard, there is one thing that is splitting the audience's reactions about this film. And this is the twist in the story. For me, personally, when this twist happened in this movie, I kind of sat there and I said, oh, that's definitely not what I expected. I wish they maybe would have done something else. But once the movie moves on from there, it sails very smoothly, and it doesn't really stay in your mind. It wasn't until the movie was finished that I truly realized that the twist really does help make the story better. This twist really does tie into the main theme of the story, that does the suit make the man, or does the man make the suit? And I really enjoyed that. So, what more can I say about Iron Man 3? I could say that it had the best story out of the Iron Man franchise yet. I could say it was the funniest Iron Man yet. I could say it had the most action out of the entire franchise. And I could say it was the most emotional movie in the franchise so far. In my opinion, Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man movie so far. So that means that Iron Man 3 most definitely is fantastic. So that is my review for the movie Iron Man 3. and I'm glad that Iron Man 3 kicked off the summer movie season with a bang. I'm excited to watch all the other films this year because Iron Man 3 set the bar so high. So I want to know what you think. So comment below and tell me how you feel about Iron Man 3 if you've seen it already. Did you like the twist? Which is your favorite Iron Man so far? I want to know. I'm Marco Polo 2417. Have a great day everyone, and I'll catch you all soon.